Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker. I'm an author, producer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, and host of That Girl the Podcast. Each week, I bring on inspiring people and stories to help you become that girl or that guy in your life. That Girl the Podcast is based on the romantic comedy That Girl a Novel, which is now available as a podcast to listen to. Listen to each chapter about finding yourself and adulting in LA. Find That Girl a Novel everywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can also find it on Amazon to buy the Kindle or paperback of. For more, find us at thatgirlthepodcast.com and follow us on Instagram at thatgirlthepodcast and our Patreon page. Well, you girls, welcome so much. Welcome to That Girl the Podcast. I'm really excited to talk to you today. I have a lot of respect for runners, and you girls are the Wahoo Girls and the running team, basically. So let me have you introduce yourselves, just a quick introduction, and then we'll get into it. So Carly, do you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Carly Daub. I live in Norman, Oklahoma. I am the co-owner of Wahoo Running. Like you mentioned, I have 2 little girls that are 6 and 4, and I'm married to a college basketball coach. That's what brought me to Norman, Oklahoma, and first introduced me to Christy because I was looking for a running partner. And we just happened to meet one day. And she actually, the first thing that she said to me when I said I was from the Pacific Northwest and then I moved to Oklahoma, she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry." Like just knowing that like moving from there to the Midwest, like, oh, you just left like the most beautiful running country ever. So anyways, it was the first thing she ever said to me. And then that blossomed our friendship.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, Christy, you go.
I'm Christy Thomas, and I live in Norman, Oklahoma as well. My husband is a Sooner bred. So we met in Houston, Texas, and then ended up moving here once we started having kids. And I started a kids running club that I called Wahoo Running. And then whenever I met Carly, it evolved into adults and BA women and just, where we are today. So I have 4 kids. My husband works at the university in the IT department. So we both have OU husbands. So Norman is home now.
Cool.
And all my babies are growing up. She has 2 and I have 4. But mine are on the upper end and getting ready to fly or leave the nest.
Right.
So.
Fly the coop, I think whatever it is. Yeah. I'm terrible with sayings. So when I was reading your description of how Wahoo started, it was started as a kids running group, but Christy, maybe it was you who talked about there was an accident in 2001. So tell me about that and how that created Wahoo.
Yeah, I lived in Houston at the time, and I had a running buddy. We ran together almost daily for 4 years. Met her through my roommate. She worked with her this gal, Meredith is my friend's name. Worked with her, her boyfriend, and she had just moved to Houston as well and was looking for somebody to run with. And my roommate at the time hooked us up. And at the time, I did not like running with other people. I had my pace. It was my time. I was a solo runner. And then Meredith and I mean, being a friendly person, I was willing, and I was willing to meet her, went running with her, and we just clicked. We just hit it off, and we ran about the same pace. So it was almost as if I was running by myself, but with somebody, which was a rare treat. And for about 4 years, we covered a lot of miles. We ran a lot of marathons together. And one of the things just during that time, we were getting faster. And as we got faster, we recognized that it wasn't as much fun. At least we looked around, you look left, look right, and everybody's really dialed into their watch and they're taking it really seriously. And while we enjoyed accomplishing things and we enjoyed getting better, we didn't want to lose the fact that this was for fun. This was for joy. This was for like a release, not something else to add to the list of pressures in life. And so in an attempt to keep it fun, and I don't even know how we came up with it, we started wahooing at races. So we would you're running and then there'd be different packs of spectators. And when we would get to a pack of spectators, we would just belt out a big woohoo during a race. And then the crowd would get into it and then they'd start cheering for us. And we'd leave that pack of people smiling and having a good time and laughing and still doing really well in the race. And so that just kind of became our MO, was we wahoo often and we wahoo anytime we can. And so then came July 7th, 2001. We had just done a 3-hour long run. She was helping me train for an Ironman, just doing all the running with me. And later that afternoon, I got a call around, I think it was around 4 p.m. from her husband, and he was hysterical. And I didn't know what was going on. I thought he was playing a joke on me. My mind wasn't there, but a small storm had rolled in off the Gulf like it often does in Houston. And she had gone outside to just kind of check out the weather and was struck by a bolt of lightning in her front yard.
Oh my gosh.
And so I get this call. He's hysterical. He's like, Meredith's in the hospital. She was struck by lightning. And I'm like, Tim, what are you talking about? No, what do you know? And he was like, yes, she's in the hospital and I don't know if she's going to make it. And I mean, all of our worlds turned upside down in that moment. And so of course we dropped everything. I was in the middle of cooking dinner, dropped everything and headed to the hospital. And, the doctor came out and just said that there had been a lot of damage to her heart and that she probably wasn't going to make it. And,
wow.
And sure enough, she ended up dying that night. And it was just, it was devastating. It was devastating for so many people. She was only 27 years old and just a really vibrant person. And it took me a long time to want to get back into running. I didn't do my Ironman. It was only a month out. I couldn't do it. Some people can rally and say, I'm going to do it for Meredith, and go and kick butt at the try, but I couldn't. It felt like I was trying to run on one leg. And it took me a while to get back into running, and I'd started, and there was so many great people around me. It wasn't that I was without people willing to run with me or, to partner up with or whatever, but it just wasn't Meredith. And so again, it just took me a while. After that happened, there was this instant desire to do something to honor her, do something that would bring, just kind of continue her spirit, her mission in this world. And just didn't know what it was. I went through all sorts of ideas and just nothing ever seemed right. And then fast forward, 13 years and a move to Norman, Oklahoma from Houston. And I just thought one day a friend of mine asked me if I would help her son, because he needed help with running because he was going to get into triathloning. And I go, sure, I'll help him. And he dreaded the running, and I was trying to make it fun for him. And so that's kind of where the seed was planted, was working with this kid, Josh. And I thought, I could do this for other kids, because so many kids think of running as punishment. And and also running is a friendly entry into coaching. They tend to be more receptive, and adults kind of scrutinize things. And so it just seemed right. And so I did a little running club here in Norman. We did it spring of 2014, and then did it every spring and every fall. And just those kids, the joy that they had just in crossing their little race. We did a little makeshift race for them, and them crossing their finish line and getting their goal. It was a lot. There was a lot of joy. It was a lot of fun to see them and see that they kind of made that connection, that there can be joy in this sport called running. And it's something they can carry on for their lifetime. It's not like gymnastics. It's not like, there are adults that play soccer, but the likelihood of any of those sports carrying through is pretty minimal. But running is one of those things that can definitely carry you through for, I just turned 50 years old, so I've been running for a long time.
Yeah.
But then I met Carly. A lot of friends had been asking me about training, because I was not everybody knew people who were injured all the time. And I just wasn't injured. I trained smart, and at Wahoo, we train people to run wisely and to hopefully avoid injury. But when I met Carly, she was I guess you were 9 months away from having a baby or something. You were very close to getting pregnant with Riley. And after she had the baby, I just asked her, hey, do you want to train for Fort Worth Marathon? And she said, yes. And I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. Cause I mean, she was like, I told my husband, this is like a job. I'm going to be there. And I'm thinking, you know, she'd probably be a little bit hit or miss. And she had to drag me out of bed for a workout. On one of our very first workouts, I overslept. I'm like, oh my gosh, this new mom is got her game face on. But as we covered the miles together, very similar to my relationship with Meredith. I mean, running expedites friendships, and that side by side, elevated heart rate, elevated blood pressure, it tends to open people up, and you start talking and sharing more about life than you would just across the table at a coffee shop. Right. And so we too became fast friends, and we trained for that race together. And during that time is when we talked about kind of joining forces and maybe taking it into the adult arena and still maintaining the kids, but go from there. So that's kind of how it all happened.
I love this. That's a remarkable story too. I mean, when you said an accident, I did not think lightning.
Yeah.
It sounds like, oh, you're joking. Like I can see why you would think he was joking.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful way to memorialize. I don't actually how do you say that?
Memorialize. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Meredith. And then it's very sweet that you two met, and it seems very fitting that you would find each other and take Wahoo to the level that it's at. I think it's interesting too that kids are so much more receptive, like you were saying, to running, and that it is something they can take all through the rest of their lives. How do you work with adults who are like, I want to start running, but I'm afraid of getting injured, or I'm too old, or this is hard, or, how do you kind of tackle that? Because they are so different than kids. They're kind of like this. Even if they want to do it, I think it's just like that.
Do you want to take it, Carly?
Sure. The hardest part is when you get an adult that is already making excuses of why they can't do it, or it's really hard to like switch their mindset. And if they don't think they can do it, then most likely they can't do it. And so just to tell them that you really have to believe in what you're doing, and it has to be a goal that you are like willing to write down, plan out your weeks, and schedule and make it happen. Because Christy and I will give you all the tools that you need to be successful, to run that marathon, to run that 5K, to stay injury free. Or if you do get injured, how to come back, and strength training and nutrition advice and all of that. But at the same time, if you're not willing to walk out that front door and hit the pavement, there's really nothing we can do from Oklahoma. And so that's been one thing, is just learning how to motivate people and giving them the tools. But the best part is that we get 90% of the time motivated individuals that are ready to work and like have already kind of been runners themselves or already, but then they just like, how do we take our running to the next level? And that's where Christy and I come into play, is because we have been doing this. Like she said, she's 50 years old. She is running injury-free forever.
That's amazing.
I run a lot of miles per week and per month, and I'm just injury free as well. But that's because I know how to listen to my body. I know when to take a rest day. I know when it's like, okay, enough is enough. My body's like, slow down. And I think really becoming in tune with that. But I'd say our biggest thing is people come to us already runners, just wanting to level up their running, and just learning how to get maybe a little faster, or to not get injured so much, or just be surrounded by like-minded people. Because, there's a saying that like, if you surround yourself with those people, you're going to become those people. So if you want to be a better runner, surround yourself with better runners. And that's really what our community has become, is just amazing individuals. I mean, Christy and I wake up all the time and are like, how did we get so many great individuals? Thank you, God, for sending totally us, good people. And and I don't know. So, I mean, it's a community, so you have your fill of both, but like most of the time we've got great people coming at us. And so that's been really exciting.
And I'm sure even if you get the occasional, strange apple or whatnot, I think it's hard to not be inspired when you are around a group of people who are so positive and so motivated. In a way, even if they're having a tough time or they're resisting, you're helping them get there in their own time and in their own way. So even if you don't see a difference, I think people are changing. I mean, they did show up, so they want to be a part of it. Like they're already like, we want to do this. But yeah, with injuries, so I danced well into college and definitely got a couple injuries that are now, hello, what's up? What's going on? And I'm just like, oh God. It's really fun to wake up every day and be like, what's going to hurt today? So how do you best, and also with running, I got into running, gosh, pretty much after college. I want to say around 25, I was like, I just need to go run. Like I was going through kind of a hard time, and the only thing that I could think of to do was to actually get outside and go run. And I've been doing it ever since. Now, I do not run like you girls do, but I do mainly like long distance walking with some running in there. So I keep it kind of more, thank you. Yay. I keep it a little bit more gentle, but it is such my favorite place to go. It's a walking meditation, essentially. You know, it's my favorite place to just work stuff out. And that's what I started it with. I was like, I have this thing happening. I need to physically move my body to help me brain figure it out, you know? So do you find that a lot of people start running because of that?
Definitely. I mean, I think there's I don't think anything can get the endorphins flowing like running can. And I also think that just letting your mind process and get like stepping away, and anytime you can get outside, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, and I know treadmills have their place, and if that's all you've got, that's all you got, and do it. But if you can get outside, and then even outside in nature, I mean, there's science behind what that does to your brain and helps you solve problems and all of that. So I definitely feel like the inner peace, the endorphins, everything that comes from running you just can't beat it with any other activity.
Right. And again, Carly, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, and too, in society right now, we're just so on the go, and there's so many demands coming at us, especially for all of us as entrepreneurs. We need to be on podcasts. We need to be on social media. We need to be present everywhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just want to be able to disconnect. And that is running for me. It's like the one thing that's mine. And for Christy and I that are moms, it's the one thing that's mine too. Like you can't take away my run. And I have to do it. We both have to do it at 5 a.m. before they wake up. And that's a struggle to wake up. But at the same time, when I get out there, I do it. I have that meditation time. Nobody's calling me. Emails aren't coming in. And I just feel like, the world is kind of peaceful. And then, kids are up and then it's bam, 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 bam.
Right.
So I definitely see that people start running just to kind of find that peace and that time in their day that nobody else can kind of bug them.
Absolutely.
So
have you guys had someone come through Wahoo Running that has just been kind of a transformation that you always think about? You're like, oh, wow, this person came in with like nothing and now is just this incredible runner, or has changed emotionally because of running. Can you think of someone like that you'd like to share about?
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
I know who you're thinking of probably.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You do? I'm trying to think. Well, it's so hard because, you can kind of think of people immediately that like got faster, like, and that's so goal oriented. Like they went from, a 4-hour marathon to a 3:30 marathon, which is a big deal, taking 30 minutes off. But at the same time, when that happens, you see everything in their life change as well. They become a better husband, if it's a guy, a better dad, a better, business guy. It's just funny how running kind of like spills over into every aspect of your life. And that's the other thing is like, we at first were a Norman based running community, and now we have gone nationwide. So we have runners all over the nation, and people that join our community from afar. It's kind of like, I was so worried about doing it. I'm like, Christy, how will they feel connected to us? Like, how are we going to make them feel like they do here in Norman, even though they're in Missouri? And it's fun because I've gotten to know people that I am legitimately excited to go meet now. And I've never met them in person, but they're just so dialed into the community. They're like commenting 24/7. We have a little platform that we use called Mighty Networks. And I like feel like I know him. I know his wife's name. I know his grandkids' names. And so the more you put into our community, the more you're going to get out. And it's such amazing people that are willing to, I mean, if someone gets, you know, heaven forbid, cancer, anything, our community is right there. Like, okay, we need to do gift baskets. We need to be sending letters. We had a gal that got a stress fracture not too long ago. And all of us women thought it would be funny if we all, one day, everybody was assigned a day and we would dance for her. So we would do a goofy dance, like a TikTok dance. And we'd send her that like once a day. So then like she'd get like mine one day, and then she'd get Christie's, and then she'd get Monica's. And it was just something, it was no monetary value, but we would do it as a joke, like in our homes. Yeah. And then we would send it to her, and it just made her smile because she couldn't come out and run with us anymore. And so she was super bummed. So I know that you asked about one individual, but I guess so many are popping in my head right now of like, really whatever you're going to put into Wahoo is you're going to get out in tenfold. It's been a really cool community to see where it started and then now see where it's at.
Right. And Christy, did you have someone that you wanted to talk about or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she kind of alluded to one of them. Well, one person that I know of, I guess I can mention her name, or I can just say a mom that doesn't live here in Norman. And she's been with Wahoo for a while, and then she got her husband to join Wahoo, but she's been really hit or miss, like on fire, not on fire, then dormant, on fire. It just, and there, no consistency has been there. And we had a pretty honest conversation not too long ago, and she homeschools her kids. And I know that her mind is really important to her, and her kids' education is really important to her. So I finally thought, I'm looking at like what I've got scheduled for her for a month or what she's got on her plan. And I did the math, and I'm like, if you hit 5 of 7, you'll be a C student. So if you're good with being a C student, you only have to hit 5 of these 7, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And if you look at her calendar now, ever since that conversation, it's insane. I mean, she's dialed in and she's doing the work, but all it took was trying to figure out what would speak to her. And so, something in that conversation lit her up, and that she's doing amazing. And it's so fun to get on her and see what she's done, because we have access to a lot of our community. We can see, like their progress and what they're doing, and if they've been hitting their workouts or not. So seeing that has probably been the most recent, like there's consistency happening. And we've talked about that, like as far as injury and prevention and that type of thing is concerned. I mean, consistency is huge. And if you're showing up, and it doesn't have to be showing up running your hardest every single day. I mean, that's the one big thing that we get to get faster. Slow down. 80% of your runs should be much slower. So when you said you walk and do some running,
we were like,
a lot of people should be doing that. And I don't know why walking gets like put down like the stepchild.
It is.
And it shouldn't be. It is so good for you. I mean, why take something high impact when you can keep it low impact and get the same cardiovascular benefit?
Yeah.
You should keep it there. And then you'll have days where you'll run and you'll run hard. But for the most part, 80% of your running is going to be easy. And so if you're consistent with that, consistent runners are more likely to not get injured. They're going to stay healthy. And if you're healthy, you're consistent. If you're consistent, you're going to keep getting better. Right. And then, so, I mean, she's one that I think of, but then Carly talked about a friend of ours that came in, and he did get faster, but he's also gotten to be a better human. I mean, it's just that's probably the biggest benefit of this community is you see people growing in every area of life. And we are kind of morphing into that. Wouldn't you say? I mean, we're starting, we did a Wahoo calendar for 2021. We had another guy that in another community that we're in that does calendars, and they're just a little motivational daily calendar. Like on the calendar every day has like a challenge or a think about this or set a goal or whatever. And so we did one with him, and we put together one for Wahoo, and just seeing people go through some of that stuff. And it's not all about running. It's about like, how are you taking care of your spouse? Are you taking care of your kids? Don't get so lopsided. Cause that's another thing that you'll see in a lot of running communities. All of a sudden it's just like family, everything over here, my running's over here, and this is all I'm about.
Right.
And I know that balance is hard to strike, but the reality is most of us are not going to get paid to be runners, right? We're not going to be Shalane Flanagan. We're not going to be Molly Huddle. I mean, we're just not going to be those elite athletes that are getting paid and sponsored. So to do that and, shun everything else you've got going in your life. So we try to keep people to where they're taking care of everything, not just their running.
Right.
But
yeah,
it's quite unique to us.
I really love that. I think that you're on to something so huge because it isn't just a physical thing. It really is a mental thing. Again, like I got into it because of a mental thing. It was not like, oh, I just want to be a runner now. Like I never liked running in high school ever, ever. Yeah. I was like, we have to run the mile. Oh my God. Like I still remember just being so miserable. And now it's like, I average 5 miles whenever I do go out. And I'm like, that's my norm. And it's funny when you say that to people, they're like, wow. I'm like, no, that's my norm. But it's just, doing that mile in high school. And I think a lot of people still have that burn into their brain of like running hurts, my side hurts. Like I can't catch my breath. You know what? Actually, that's a good question. Do you have people who have problems with when they're trying to get faster and they're breathing heavier? Because I think that's just your automatic response as a body. Do they find themselves panicking? Because I've had that, and that's a strange struggle that I finally put together. This is a while ago. I was like, when I'm breathing heavier, it reminds me of when you're having a panic attack, and it scares my body. And thus my brain's like, slow down, slow down. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, how do you guys deal with that?
Well, I mean, I think your brain is designed to protect, right? It doesn't want you going above and beyond. And so they say that we still have 40% in the tank whenever our brain's like, hold on, wait a minute, you got to stop. Yeah. And so I think that there's probably, I am not someone that struggles with panic attacks, so I don't know. I don't really make that connection, and I haven't actually had someone come to me and mention that, but it makes sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense because I've witnessed a panic attack, and I could see that like triggering something in your brain, and I think that's where mind over matter. You have to just talk to yourself. I'm fine. Absolutely. This is part of it. This is good for me, as long as it's not every single time you go running or know. I would say that's. You've just got to kind of work through that and push through that and let your body or let your mind and body know that's not what this is. This is intentional. I am in control of this. This is good for me. And just keep telling that to yourself. That would be my recommendation to anybody that kind of had that trigger. Yeah. Because that makes sense.
Because I think essentially it's the same idea as when you're just trying to reach a new goal with even distance, right? It's just that, oh gosh, I've never gotten to this point yet. I'm scared. And you just have to, tell your brain, like, you're fine. Just keep going. Like if you didn't know how many miles you were at, you'd probably just keep going.
No, I have to say something. So most times, like if someone has never ran a marathon and they've done the half, when they finish the half, they're like, oh my gosh, I could never do a marathon. Well, that's because in your brain, 13.1 is all you programmed it for. So when you hit that 13.1 or just finish your half marathon, you're like, no way. But it's crazy that when you run a marathon, you're only thinking 26.2. So when you hit that 13.1 mark, it's like, oh, that it doesn't even register that would be the end because you've already, your brain is so powerful that whenever you think you're going to be done, you're done. So if you think you're done at 13.1, you're done. If you think you're done at 26.2, if you're going for a 50 miler, you can do it, but 51, you can't. Like, it's just so crazy that like you totally put those barriers up. Like, no, I only do 5 mile walks. I don't do 6. Like, it's just like, it's funny how that we can do that to ourselves. We can handicap ourselves by just like saying, oh no, I have a 10-mile run this weekend, not a 12. Like, nope. And it's so funny because like, what's the difference really in 10 or 12? For some people, there's a big difference, but most runners, it's not a huge difference.
Right. So. It's very cute. So before COVID, when we were still having marathons here in LA,
we had you were one of the last ones.
Oh my goodness.
Like you guys went when everybody was like, whoa, LA is running?
Yes. My Zoom doesn't do this very often, but it's telling me I only have 10 minutes left, but maybe we could actually wrap this in 10. I don't know why it does it. Sometimes it's like, it lets me go forever. And then sometimes it's like, nope, 40 minutes. That's all you get. So, okay. So let me pick up where I left off.
LA Marathon.
So the LA Marathon happens here, and I got this, it's right up the street from my house, like the path. So it starts at Dodger Stadium, and then it goes all the way down to the beach. And so I'm in West Hollywood, and it goes down Sunset Boulevard, and I can literally like walk up and be like, hey guys. And in fact, I've actually been on my run, and it's part of my run. So I've like run with them at points. It's really cute. But I did the math, and I've always wanted to do a half marathon. I'm like, I think that's a perfect place to start, because like I can do this long distance thing. I can do it. It turns out that the 13-mile mark is literally the cross street to my house on Sunset.
Oh, meant to be.
It is so meant to be. And then COVID happened, and I was like, no. But it was so cute. I'm like, I would literally walk myself home. Like, I would walk myself home. Anyway, so
that's perfect.
It's so amazing. So I want to mention one thing, and then I want to have you tell everyone where they can find you, how they can sign up, all of the stuff. With injuries, if someone gets a small injury while they're starting to run, what is your advice on how to keep the momentum and not feel like, oh, well, now I'm injured, I can't run for a week, and how do you deal with that best?
Well, one of my first things would be, depending on the athlete and the level they're at, but I would say keep going, walking. A lot of times that's where I'd kind of say, I'd probably say, let's dial it back. Let's see if walking bugs whatever or aggravates it as well. But I'm like, a 60-minute walk and a 60-minute run are really pretty close to the exact same thing. There is such a negative connotation with walking, but you can get the same benefits. Endurance running is all about time spent on your feet. And that's what one thing that does happen with injury is if you start off too much too soon. So if you're running every day, all of a sudden, and you've never done that before. So it needs to be a nice gradual build. So if you did start to feel like a niggle, I would just say, let's back it off. But we're not going to stop the momentum. We're not going to, just go cold turkey, but let's see if walking bugs it. Let's see if maybe you could just go find a hill and walk up and down a hill. So you're still getting that cardiovascular workout, but it's not putting the pounding of running. Or, there's so many things that it could be, but when people are motivated and that first little obstacle comes up, it can be the end. I mean, really, it's like, so just really telling them, nope, we're still going to go out for a 20-minute walk tomorrow. You still got this. It's still doing the same amount of benefit as, your run. CT, what would you add to that?
I concur with that, but then also we really emphasize the importance of strength training and making sure that you're a strong runner, because strong runners are resilient runners are consistent runners continue to get better. And so I think most runners just want to run. They don't want to take time to lift a barbell or anything. I mean, they just don't want to do it because it doesn't give you the same high that your running does. And so we tell people, I'd rather you take 10 to 15 to 20 minutes off of an hour run, do some strength, 40-minute run, and you're going to be so much better off than if you were to do those 60 minutes and never hit the weight room. And it can all be body weight. A lot of the work that we do is PT. It kind of looks like PT. It's not, we're not killing it in the weight room, and no worry about, coming out looking like Hulk. We're not going to beat it up. I mean, that's a big concern of a lot of people is that I don't want to get bulky. I don't want my thighs to get big. I'm like, you'd have to do some pretty major lifting in order to get some changes like that. So I'm pretty sure no runner is going to be doing that. But I mean, I think weight training and then just recovery work and we're really big on a pre-run routine that activates our glutes. Because especially with women, hips tend to be an issue, and that leads to everything being off. And so keeping those hips healthy and strong and activated before your run is everything.
What's a good activity to do to help your hips if you're a woman before a run?
Have you ever seen those mini bands? They're like, about this long. anyways, we put those around our knees, and we have this little glute activation kind of routine that we do. Glute bridges are good, monster walks, basically anything to kind of light up your posterior chain, which is your butt, and then get that light up before you go out for your run. So many people just get out of the car and go run, or walk out your front door and go run. But there needs to be some, active kind of getting your body ready for what you're going to do. We really believe in that, and that will keep you healthier as you take on the mileage. Mm-hmm. So
I love it. You girls are just wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited about what you do. And I love everything you're doing. And I'm so glad you found each other. It's been so nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. Tell everyone where they can best find you.
On Instagram, we're at Wahoo Run. On Facebook and Twitter, it's Wahoo Running. And then you can find us online at www.wahoorunning.com, or our online platform is crew.wahoorunning.com. So we're everywhere. Find us, type in Wahoo, and we'll pop up on Google. So
awesome.
And to join us, it's only $20 a month, or $19.99 a month, or $200 for a year, $199.99 to be
oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's such a great deal.
And you get a lot. I mean, you get a lot for that. A lot more than you bargained for sure. So
I think so. From listening to you guys just about the community, it sounds incredible. What an amazing group of people that are coming together and just making each other better.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
thank you so much, ladies.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at That Girl the Podcast.